In this episode of The Only Rule Is You Have to Talk About It.
Yeah.
It's a very simple rule, actually. If the kid can do it by him or herself, you do not do it.
Respect.
You let them do them
That's
by
a
themselves.
powerful
That's
saying.
it.
You know, there's
Situation
no
that I
there's
am
no
in.
guidebook of being a perfect parent. We
No one
all
is
learn.
perfect.
We
No one
all
is
we all
perfect.
have to learn sometimes the hard way. I think that's the most powerful lesson you can learn is that when you forgive somebody, you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for yourself.
Correct. Welcome to another episode of The Only Rule Is.
You have to talk
You
about
have
it.
to talk about
We
it.
have to talk about it. This episode is about investment. It could be investment in friendship, relationships, financial investment. Well, most men over 40, they find it hard to keep friends, close friends. There's divorce rates are through the roof, especially in our times. There's fatherless homes, and definitely no savings in a lot of the homes, especially in countries like America. I think the truth wealth is equal to a strong relationships, either through your kids, your marriages, your friendships, financial, whatever it is. I mean, it's hard because it's hard to keep that balance. I don't know what you guys think.
I thought when we decided to talk about investment, I thought we were just talking about financial investment, not emotional investment, because then
I
it's
think-
two completely worlds for me. But sure, if you wanna, we can.
Well,
we
I
can
think
dig into
I
that.
think we need to. Well, I think not everybody here. Well, especially me. I'm not really versed in financial investment, but I'm. I think I've done a lot of work in doing investment in my relationship,
Okay.
through my parents, having that relationship with my kids, having a relationship in investment, and having that even
I think I'm
investment
on pops
in,
on this one here as well.
What I feel, if we're going into that dynamic, what I feel is like you can have the best financial investment in the world, but if you don't have emotional investment in someone,
It's
everything
pointless.
else is worthless.
Absolutely.
Boom.
I mean, that's what we're
Boom, not
trying.
wrong.
Yeah, I think that's what we're trying to get to. I mean, sure, you can be financially amazing, but if you don't have that investment in other areas, you have a pitfall already.
So tell us, where would you like to start then?
Well, let's start with friendship.
No, first of all, I would like to say thank you because it's nice to see it from a different perspective on the topic you brought up and what we thought about, but what the idea was behind it, and respect.
But I think we all gonna bring different perspectives as well. I mean, I learned a lot of financial investment through pops over here, and also my wife, which I didn't have growing
I
up.
absolutely do not remember talking financial investment with you, but yeah, I'm sure it happened.
Yeah, but it was not great financial investment. I mean, it was the
Do
poopy
not fall.
coins. It was the poopy coins.
Are we talking about 2021?
Yes.
Oh, forget it.
You read it from tea leaves, right?
But it left a seed for me to start looking more into it and have a little bit more knowledge at where I was going to. But let's start with relationship and friends. I mean, it is true that friends, your true friends, start becoming true friends after 30. And a lot of people through the 30s have a lot of friends, but there's a decline in your 30s. Why? I think is because the friends you have in the 30s is the people, maybe you're in early 20s, is the people you party with. And then the true investment, you start building up that relationship is from the 30s to the 40s, and having that, cultivating that friendship.
The close knit community between you and your friends. Yeah, I agree totally.
Right. And then that investment is your ROI. I got your intention. Your return on investment. That's what ROI means.
We're not paying you enough, bro. That's good. That's good stuff. Good. Keep it coming.
Yeah. So that return on investment on what you spend in that time and that friendship, it comes back later. Maybe in your late 40s, I mean, in your mid 40s. For me, it did. I mean, I invested. I didn't know you were going to be a close friend, Denver, or Opal, or Pops. When I first met you, we used to party all the time. I didn't think we're going to be hanging out at a bar and saying, you're a good friend, man. I'm going to invest a little more time on you. And we did.
I can see it. I'm sorry. I can see it like that. I can see friendship as an investment, bro. Maybe it's the word, man. But I can see it as an investment. I would
I don't
never.
think he tried to do it intentionally. I mean, that is the byproduct of
But do you
being
understand?
friends with each other. I think
Do
that's
you
the
understand? I
point.
don't want you to invest time in me because that means that you are doing something that that you're making a trade-off. You
No,
understand what I'm saying?
yeah, but
I
I,
don't,
I,
bro.
I
I
understand
don't
what you're
get it.
saying, but I don't know if
I
I
kind of
agree.
see what he's referring to, but there's a little pin in my heart every time he refers to a friendship as investment. But let's just put that on the sidebar for now. And
It's
okay.
I'm not looking for a return on your investment. I mean, my investment with your friendship. I'm just saying, personally, I feel like when I spend time with you or with anybody of you guys, I feel like I'm
Getting a good return.
good return. Even when you
That's
like,
exactly what I'm saying. What good return could you possibly have from my friendship except like stupid shit, bro?
No, bro,
no,
that's not true.
Maybe you need stupid shit.
let me put you
In a
in
term.
I
yeah,
know
no.
what you mean. I know what you mean. I know what you
There
mean.
was a hard time in my life, and then I was texting pops, and then he just sat down and was like, okay, he's texting me back and forth and said that, you know what, tell me what your fear is, tell me what the worst thing can happen, and tell me what your plan is, and we're back and forth,
I was
and
always very good at that shit, man.
yeah, so
Maybe it's the few things that I'm good at my life. It's to
but I felt
empathize
like
with people.
Let him get through it, bro. We're not getting to his point.
right, but I felt like the investment that I put in at the beginning, when before that, it's kind of saying like, you know what, you sat down with me as the way I sat down with you and started talking about stuff.
Okay, that's it. That's what makes me. That's it. Because if you're talking about investment, then you're talking about a return on investment. If you're talking a return on investment, then it's got to be measurable. So maybe you could have had a bigger return on investment on your investment of your friendship with me, or
It's
a less.
compound interest, bro.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
compound interest, bro.
Thank you.
Can I put it in a way you understand? It's
Alright,
compound
alright.
interest.
But you understand what I mean?
I
You
do
understand?
get your point.
It's not measurable.
I don't
These
think
things
he
are
mean-
not measurable.
I understand.
Okay.
I understand.
Not meaning to reduce our relationship, but it's confusing to me to
I don't
call
think you
it an
can reduce
investment.
your relationship with him, bro. You don't have a choice.
Okay.
Or with each other, because we have different ways to have a relationship with each other. I mean, in
Couldn't
friendship,
agree more.
yeah. I mean, there's
Okay.
different types of relationships, different type of friends. I mean, we have the mentor, the peer, uh, the young guy. Who's the young guy here? You're the young guy.
Yeah.
Who's the
he's a young guy.
mentor?
Probably
It's-
the young guys between us would be Opa, right?
Yeah.
Because he's the one that has least responsibilities.
You're on
it's true.
fire
He-
today,
he has,
bro.
He has the
You're
least
on fire today, bro.
He has the least responsibilities yet.
But
Yet.
who's the fun one?
We all are. Maybe that's why.
I'm
Maybe,
not so sure.
maybe that's why it
Used to
works
be-
so well because we all
Yeah.
are the fun one.
Yeah,
At some point.
I think we take turns on being the fun one, but there's always the truth teller. I think Denver is a truth teller over here. It tells tells us as it is. I mean, there's different types of friends. The good thing
And
is we're
thank God-
interchangeable.
Diversity is the key to a good, social group, right? If
Yeah,
we were all the same.
absolutely.
And an entertaining social group too.
I mean, and in the pitfalls of a relationship, and we sometimes find, and I sometimes find myself in a relationship like that, is we have the transactional friendships, where you feel like they only contact you for something,
It's not
and then
worth
after
it.
that, they drop you off.
It's not worth it. I can be the first one to. You guys know that I invest in a lot of time in people, and in my perspective, as you get older, as you want to keep the people around you in your close knit community or friends circle, whatever you want to call it, people that are there will call you for no reason to check up on you.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
And when they think something's wrong with you, they'll send you a message and privately and ask you, you know what, and everyone here has done it for me. So yeah, I think the older you get, it's more important to understand relationships are there, but there's some that's meant to be there for a longer term, and others just meant there to teach you a lesson. In my perspective. Opa, how about you? You seem to be very quiet on this aspect. Do you have any investments you want to talk about?
Do you have friends?
Thank you for reminding me about these. I don't know, but
He recently made an investment in companionship, right?
Oh yeah, a lot.
We'll get into
We're not
that one
talking about
later.
monetary value. We're talking about something bigger than that.
Yeah, no, but friendship investments.
Friendship is not an investment. Friendship is well in terms of if you talk about the returns of perfect pursuing, well, friendship I don't think it's an investment, but friendship is something you spend your time with, and then maybe there's some kind of byproduct. Something. It's not purpose. It's just the result.
Yeah, I think friendship for us, we don't really think about it as an investment.
We don't.
We just think about it like, okay, it's just a friendship. We're not expecting a return on that investment, but I do feel like I'm grateful to spend time with you, even though it's like 10 minutes or 5 minutes, but at least my attention is 100% with you guys.
I can totally agree. I think when we are together, none of us are actually playing on the phone unless somebody calls me for work. But we usually have very deep conversations or stupid conversations.
Yeah,
It's either one or
absolutely.
the other. It's never intermediate.
Yeah, and I feel that. I feel that, and then I think I feel grateful that I have that friendship, and then that the attention that I get is the same attention that I'm giving you. So it's kind of like a back and forth transaction as well in that
Respect.
sense. What do
You
you
wanna
think?
you wanna touch on the next part of
You
your
were earlier. You were talking about like how do we, and we actually touched this topic before in other episodes. Why is it that in our 30s and in our 40s we usually do not make any new friends? Like there's not a chance to meet new people.
It's
Why do you think?
I think we're so into our lives
Yeah.
that like like Denver has a business. Pops, you have your kids. Opa over here has his students that he writes his papers for. And I also have my family, so it's like it's really hard to
time
go
is
out
less.
there,
Time
and
is less.
the investment that I can get.
So
again,
maybe that's
friends
maybe
is different.
Maybe this closes the loop, right? Maybe it's like you said, you don't have time to invest in having
New relationships, yeah.
acquaintances.
That's why for a lot of people for over 40s, if they don't keep that relationship they had in the 30s, it's kind of lost, and it's really hard to gain another friendship.
And it has to be said that the greatest investment or emotional investment one will do in his or her life, it's to raise kids, right?
Yeah.
You have to sacrifice everything to raise kids, or at least to raise them properly, right?
Well, I don't think it's sacrificing. I think it's another investment. It's another type of investment that we can go. We can.
I
go
don't
there
mean
and-
sacrifice in a bad way, but and I'm sorry to be saying this constantly, open, but you know that you will not sleep for whatever number of months, usually 9. If you're lucky, it's 9. If you're not lucky, 3 years or something. Some people don't sleep for
I
3
think
years.
I think fatherhood, in a way, it's a long term investment, because
No, it's not
You
a
have to-
sacrifice. Like, I would
I
not.
don't think it's a
I wouldn't
sacrifice.
trade holding my daughter in my
Guys,
arms.
it's commodity. It's commodity. It's racking up the safe with commodities, and that's going to build up to something so beautiful that I'm just using a pun on words
No,
to
no, no,
describe the
it-
situation.
It's fine. I mean, it's being presence, is teaching the kid resilience, setting standards, and being emotionally available. I mean, it's things that we as fathers do a lot to our kids, but we don't just we don't think about it as a transactional thing, but it's an investment in our kids' future, because we set all those standards, all those boundaries to our kids, that it will help them develop in the future. So that's the only legacy that we can leave to our kids. I mean, other than monetary, investment or money, because man, you can raise a kid being rich, but they'll be spoiled little kids if you don't set
They are.
the root, the foundation. It's like building a house, right?
If a kid is not given the opportunity to fight for what he wants, he will be spoiled.
Correct.
And actually, that's the best way to destroy a child's mind, is to spoil him. It's to give him
it's
everything that he wants.
overindulge him,
And you
or,
can see it. You can see it in every aristocracy on earth.
or
You can see it.
outsourcing education with screens, or
Yeah.
or somebody else to take care of them instead of
Yeah, exactly.
yourself.
Yes.
And that's the pitfalls that we, especially in where we live, because we're in a bubble, so where it's easy to get someone like, oh, here's a helper, so go, take care of my kid. But I'm guilty of that, and I feel guilty enough that I'm like, oh, I need to spend more time. So what I do is I personally invest time with my daughter. Like I give her like a date night. I take her to a
You know,
restaurant.
that sounds very nice, man, to have a date night with your daughter
Yeah, yeah.
alone.
It
Because I know
is,
that
bro.
you guys go
Yeah,
alone, like you
yeah.
just
We
the two
go,
of
and
us.
she joins me to do a
Do you also
CrossFit
do it
or-
with your son sometimes, or are you still too young? Or
No, I do it with Carlson too.
Carlson too?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He
I
does it
agree.
too.
I've been doing it. I just went to Capora on Saturday, and I plan to do it with Aria as a parent-child friendship. And I just messaged the master to find out if he can make it possible. But most of the time, they usually cannot because of my schedule for night time. So I asked him if we could do some privatized lessons for morning classes, and yeah, they're trying to make it work. I think sometimes when we, as you just said, we are so busy with our lives. I think I'm a very busy person in general, and sometimes I feel guilty that I don't give enough time that I should, and I try to make it possible.
But remember, it's quality, not quantity.
Yeah, agree.
Like
Yeah, it's
like
quality.
I start, what, guys, I set up a trip with my daughter, and then we went on a trip by ourselves. We had fun, and we went to Singapore, and we had fun there. She got a little sick, so we had to cancel some other stuff, but then we compensated for something else, like biking, and it was great because she doesn't remember how much money I paid for this or that. She
She only remember.
remembers the quality time
Very true.
that I invested on her, and that she'll come back and say, like, and she still does, Daddy, when are we gonna go to Singapore? And like, oh, do you want to go us only, or you take mommy too? And she's like, no, I just want to go with us, And sometimes she changes her mind, like, no, I want to go with Carlson. So, and it's good because she remembers that. She remembers the times, the moments that we spent together and that invested in on her.
I have one topic that, based on what you just said. So I love music, as you all know, right? So I always play music in the morning. I drive to Aria to school every day. I pick up every day. And I'm very fortunate to be able to be in that situation. And recently I've been taking away that, listening to music, and I started to focus on like spelling. Just simple words first, like red, black, coloring, taxi, buses, and I've seen the progress over the last 2 months. When my daughter's improved a lot,
Yeah,
and
because from the
just giving
parent
them that
comes
quality time. Yeah,
difference.
what do you want to say?
Yeah.
Go ahead, go, go.
No, I said you too.
Yes. Thank you.
It was
I knew
stuck in
something
there.
was coming,
It
bro.
was
I
stu-
knew
it
it
was
was
stuck in
building
there.
up.
It was stuck in
So
there.
yeah, he was holding it back, bro.
I
Yeah,
specifically ask no stupid jokes, but I will allow that.
yeah, sure.
That's why he's the fun guy.
Yeah.
That is the point. Guy.
For now, for now, your time will come, so remember that every
Oh,
dog
yeah.
has his day,
All the stuff that you paid, it's gonna come back to you
and it has.
tenfold.
It has. And you know what he cannot believe is that it happened so fast. He used to make fun of me. I won't disclose the topic of relevance, but he used to make fun of me. Now the same topic that he used to make fun of is come back and hit him hard.
It's karma, right?
It's
It's
can I
another.
swear, bro?
It's,
Am I allowed to
it's-
swear? Karma's a bitch.
it's another type of investment that is coming back to you. That's right. Yeah, but I mean, even with your kids, when you teach them like music, you're saying music. I mean, you're really involved in music, hip hops. So, have you seen any return on that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Because when they become adults, right? They might not remember each day specifically, but they will remember the whole journey of you spending time with them and teaching them and talking and giving them love, and giving them kisses and hugs. It's all remembered as a one continuous
Yeah.
trail of love.
Even with my older daughter, and she remembers all the trips that we take together, as a family, because she lives with her mother, and it's different because her dynamics as a single child is different when she comes over and visits us. She suddenly is put in a situation with two other kids and have a bigger family.
Which is also extremely healthy, right?
It's extremely healthy because she goes from one extreme to the other extreme. And what I'm trying to invest in is saying that, look, there's other sides of being a family. You can be a family as only with your mother, which is fine, and it's one relationship, and then you have another type of relationship. So she learns, and that my investment on her is, there's different worlds, there's different ways to approach situations, how we approach it, to her mom approaches things, and it's good, it's healthy, because I grew up that way, knowing that how my father approached things versus my mother approached things, and then you kind of mix those worlds together, and then create your own world, and
Understanding. Yeah.
how you
Make her
process information, how you solve problems. So in a way, it's like I'm teaching her to say, like, all the mistakes that I made as being an only child with my mom, is she's in the same situation, and I'm kind of trying to guide her, like, this is the way that I deal with this situation, this is the other way with this situation. So hopefully that she'll listen, and that will pay off in the long time, in
That
the long term.
is exactly the same
You know, there's
situation
no
that I
there's
am
no
in.
guidebook of being a perfect parent. We
No one
all
is
learn.
perfect.
We
No one
all
is
we
perfect.
all have to learn sometimes the hard way. Sometimes I feel I'm a little bit too harder on Aria, but I know if I don't give her some guidelines on what to do and what not to do, she'll get away with it. For example, right? Just yesterday or today, like I gave her the water bottle. I'm trying to teach her some, and I told her, put it in the sink. Can you help to wash it? She said, and then she took the one and she gave it to Tita. And for me, that's a non.
Who's
That's
a
not.
tita?
Tita is the helper.
Oh, okay.
That's not acceptable.
That
And
is
I
not
said,
acceptable.
no way. And I put my foot down at that point, and it's like, there has to be rules in place.
No, you have
Otherwise,
to. You did good, bro.
yeah.
You did
And
good.
is this is not the if she learns to do this now, what's going to happen in the future?
Exactly, and that's what I teach my kids. So now that what they do is they pick up their plate from the
Yeah.
from the table, and then put it in the sink. The next step will be like rinsing them,
Yeah.
but it's little by little.
Yeah.
And even when they drop something, there goes my helper and picks it up, and I said, like, no, 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 have them pick
Yeah.
it up, and I'm one there, like, pick it up, so they pick it up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they know how to do, because the way that we grew up in the U.S. Part of my kids growing up process was in the U.S., and we didn't have any helpers. We didn't have anybody to help us except for my wife and I. So the kids also learned to be independent.
Yeah, it's
So coming
important.
here, it was like, oh, somebody's helping me do everything I need to do, put my clothes on and stuff like that. Like, no, 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 no. So now, I don't know if Arya does the same thing. Does she go and get dressed herself?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
So,
non-negotiable.
yeah, yeah.
Taking a
so,
shower also non-negotiable.
yeah, so we're teaching that. That's my next
Yeah.
one, to teach them. So that's an investment too. Is like it's being independent.
Yeah. I totally agree, because spoiled kids now becomes unhealthy adults in terms of a workplace or whatever environment, so it affects them throughout their whole life. There has to be an understanding that careless decisions has consequences, and if we as a parent are trying to be the best friend and not taking the best interests when they are adults while they're a kid, I think it's quite difficult to understand what kind of adult they will be.
Yeah.
It's a very simple rule, actually. If the kid can do it by him or herself, you do not do it.
Respect.
You let them do them
That's
by
a
themselves.
powerful
That's
saying.
it. That's it.
That's
man.
a powerful
It's
saying.
the
I read
rule
it somewhere.
is as simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even being us being a son in a way to our parents. I mean, like you we're just talking about it. We get affected a lot from our parents as well. So it's like my parents, as being divorced, has definitely had a hard relationship growing up. So I resented my parents for a long time, because it's basically that it's in the investment they put into it, not knowing what the results was going to be. And that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, it's not easy, right?
I know how it is to be grown up as an only child, and that's my investment for my kids. Like, okay, you're an only child and you're a divorced parent with a divorced mother. I know how to kind of deal with the situation. I resented them, but you know what? My investment in them was getting back with my parents and forgiving
No, you have to
not
forgive.
them but myself.
Yeah, I think that's the most powerful lesson you can learn is that when you forgive somebody, you're not doing it for them, you're doing it for yourself.
Correct.
Yeah.
And divorce is a much better solution than growing up around two people that are miserable with each other, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And in a way, I'm kind of thankful. I wasn't that time, but now that I grew up and stuff like that, I'm glad they did because they weren't for each other. you know, I can see a lot of arguments going through there, and they're just staying together just for the sake of it. It's just ridiculous. It's just stupid. So I learned to forgive myself, and then learn to forgive, not forgive them, but if I don't forgive myself, I will not understand them. And regardless of it, I love them. I try to keep a relationship with them. My father is a little more hard than my mom, but it's an investment that I put into them. My kids notice that investment that I put into having a more closer relationship. And I even tell my kids, like, you want to talk to your grandma? You want to talk to grandpa? And they're like, yay. So that's good because I feel like, oh, that I'm getting that return investment because they see me reaching out. So they'll reach out as well. And my parents like that, even though like we never really grew up together very tight. I don't know if I'm making myself.
You are. Totally, I do understand where you're coming from because you have to set the example. That's what you're doing. You're setting the
Yes.
example of what, even though it wasn't shown to you the same, in the same manner, you're trying to be the better person and do it in a way that it will give you the greatest outcome possible. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense, and I think it when it started with me is when I first had my first child, and saying that I need to get better in my relationship with my parents because if I don't do that, again for myself as an investment, I will end up being my parents to my child. Do you see where I'm going
Yeah,
with?
it was
Yeah,
going to repeat itself.
Yes,
It's going to
I
repeat
don't want.
itself.
It needs to stop somewhere.
that's
I'm
it.
not a perfect person.
No, no, it takes a lot
You
of
know,
Nobody
strength.
is.
I
Nobody is. Don't
I
get me
I
wrong.
I fuck up all the time.
Sure,
You know,
yeah.
but you will too, and it's okay. It's okay because you get the beauty of having a small child. You can start over again as long as you don't start making the same mistake over and over and over. You can kind of start over again a little bit, and make yourself better as it goes. But if you're not in zen with yourself, Opa, Dever, Pops, yeah, I don't think you forget your parents. Your parents are everything. Everybody blames everything on their parents. That's the whole thing, and it's not your parents. It's not your parents' fault. It's your thing to understanding how do you make
It's
yourself
your
better.
responsibility to break the cycle.
Correct.
It's your
Yep.
If
responsibility.
you don't invest in yourself, then you can't pay it forward. You can't show that positive energy.
What about you, Opa? What do you have to say on this? You seem very quiet on this topic.
Yeah, because I don't have kids so far.
Okay.
Oh, but you have parents.
Yeah.
My parents are okay. My dad a bit aggressive. Mom always been like,
Whose dad is not aggressive? Well, I had a military dad, so.
yeah, my dad always been aggressive. Mom's kind of didn't say any word or whatever. Well, even yeah, kind of thing. So what I learned is like, I think I have a normal family maybe,
No family is normal, but sure.
Yeah, I agree.
kind
No
of, kind of,
family
kind
is
of.
normal.
Normal family.
Regular,
That's only in the
regular.
movies.
And
Well,
then
uh-huh.
my dad in terms of investment by being independent, he taught me a lot of things. I remember the one time when I was like in elementary school, I was doing a homework. So for the homework, sometimes you need to check dictionary to explain the words, something like that. But if your mom around, I will ask mom, hey, what's this word? What's the meaning of that? She would tell me, but dad never. Go check. There's a dictionary. Do it.
In a way, it's kind of good because you kind
Yeah.
of growing up independent to that sense. Like, okay, I have to do my own research and stuff like that.
Yeah, exact. So yeah.
That's a perfect example, actually. Uh,
But depends. If sometimes doing
No,
like
I have
sometimes
a different
sharing during
approach.
homework time, it's a way of bonding, right?
Yeah, no, wait, I have a different approach to what I'm bringing up, right? So you all know that
If
I'm basically an entrepreneur. I'm trying to be, and I have a rule of thumb for my stuff. If the problem is small enough, you should be able to intellectually think of the solution. If you cannot, then you can come to me. But you should first try to fix it first by yourself, because that way they don't rely on you. So, as a business perspective, it makes sense as a business owner to the ability to take yourself out from the situation to focus on the minor tasks. Otherwise, that's all you ever be doing, is focusing on small problems. And one of the greatest things that I ever did was implement that. My staff may not like it when they have to put themselves through it, but once they do fix the problem or whatever, they'll feel good about it. And the next time, they can take that same problem head on, and I don't have to be involved. And that's the greatest thing I can learn from. I know we touch on investments, but business is an investment at the same
Investment.
time. Yeah.
That's
So
that's a
yeah,
perfect example for an
yeah.
investment. Your business, which is growing, we might
We're trying.
say.
We're trying. We are trying. How about you?
Well,
What's
I
next?
kind of want to. Did you learn from your father in a way that, or was it just him brushing you off and
no,
saying
no,
like, okay,
he so turns out in terms of homework, assignments, schoolwork, I never ask him.
so you learned?
I can do myself.
Yeah.
If I ask him something, he would be angry. How come you don't even get this one down? Da 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 like that. So I don't. No.
That's
He, I
If you
think
know like who is Simon Sinek, does anyone know who is Simon Sinek?
the name rings a bell. But
Okay, Simon Sinek is one of the people who is an entrepreneur, and he wrote a lot of books around about empathy. And one of his greatest thing is to know the difference between when to be have empathetic and when to be a leader. And in every scenario, you still have to be empathetic, but you still have to be a leader. Meaning, you have to draw the line between what you think is acceptable and what you think is not. And sometimes finding that balance is truly a difficult thing.
didn't he have a bestseller like in the
He still
2000s?
does, bro. He still does. He still,
Short hair, glasses. Yeah, I
he
think I
still
know.
does. He's an amazing human being. And sometimes, like I think Carlos brought up the topic that who are your role models or stuff in the beginning of the episode. And until now, I haven't found somebody to fit the shoes, but I have many people that I listen to and I respect in that, and you guys been one of them, that I respect in a way that I take your opinion, and I would actually think twice before when you tell me something. I would
Yeah.
not just go
I,
ahead and do the same thing.
I think what I brought up is that the five friend types, and within each other, we kind of each fill in that gap, because we wear different hats.
We all
He
do.
wears always a hat, but but wear different hats. Sometimes we're the fun guy, sometimes we're the mentor, sometimes the truth teller. So that's the dynamic of our group, that we can always interchange.
You were asking Opa, and actually that reminded me. Did your parents ever tell you anything about? Why are you pointing?
Wait, because I don't know who you're saying.
Did
Your
your
parents?
any of you?
Oh, okay.
We can start with you. Did your parents ever taught you anything about financial investment? Or
Actually, no, they
No.
didn't.
it's
No.
funny, right?
Well,
One
that's
of the most important criteria for a healthy financial life and a good retirement, it's not taught in schools. Even me, who had a business management degree, wasn't really taught how to manage my wealth. It's
yeah.
unbelievable, right? We are not taught to do this, and
I
it's really super important.
I
But
think
I
so too.
flipped that script, to be honest, because my dad was very good at money. Right, we have no bills. My dad died in, unfortunately, everything was taken care of. He didn't spend any of the money that which he worked very hard to achieve. I went to college, everything was paid for, and I did the same thing for my daughter. My daughter can go to college at she's 4 right now. She can already go to college because I took on a what do you call it, educational fund, that by the time she gets to 18 she can already go to study. And those kind of small it's such a good topic that you brought up,
It
bro.
is.
It's
But it's much more important now
it's
because,
so important.
like we were talking, I think before we started to record this episode, there are no savings anymore.
Correct.
Or
I think
it's not that there are no savings anymore.
it's now. It's
the
at the beginning of
lower
the episode we're talking about.
the
There's no
lower
savings.
classes of the
anymore.
population do not have an ability to save money.
No,
They just
don't.
live paycheck to paycheck.
And we can't really blame them, right? The rich sometimes are very greedy.
No, that's exactly the thing. The governments have unpayable debt, and to solve that, there's three solutions for debt. One, you raise taxes. No one likes to do that because it's not politically acceptable. Second, you cut costs, right? Also not politically acceptable. And you have the invisible way, which is inflation, to print more money. And that's it. And the governments have been printing money like there's no tomorrow, which means inflation, which means people who do not own assets are left in the shit.
Yeah,
And,
I think that's an exterior force, but the one that you can control things, which I wasn't taught, is actually starting to save and invest as an early part of my lifehood. Unfortunately, I went into debt a lot because growing up in the U.S., I had to pay for my university, so I had to get out loans. And after university, I still had to pay those loans. So it was just an endless cycle. But as opposed to Europeans or even living in Macau, it's already kind of paid for. So you already kind of set forward in a way.
Correct. I think if I had to say this, sometimes your parents don't have to tell you, but you can see by what they do. My father lived a very frugal life in terms of the lifestyle. He wore the same clothes. He drove the same car for 20 plus years. And I never understood it. He could afford the best. But I never understood it until it was too late. And that's why I've taken an approach that is a little bit in his footsteps, that I am not I wear the same clothes every day.
Well, you don't need to feel guilty about that because that's the kind of thing that takes time to understand.
Yeah,
You couldn't
it's true.
understand it back then, so
But you would love to appreciate the understanding while they are still.
it takes
on-
time to
on-
appreciate those things.
Yeah,
You can do
so
it.
I mean, also when you're young and you get your first paycheck, you're like, oh yes, I got money, I can spend it all. And, you're, ching, 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 and then credit cards come in. Oh, I can have more money
No,
to
but
spend.
since we're
So that's
talking about
great.
investment, that's exactly what I'm talking. We are no longer in the same economic circumstances as our dads. Saving money now does not
even
guarantee
for us in
you.
the 90s, in early 2000s, it's completely different.
Saving
than right
money
now.
now is not the same thing because our money is being completely devaluated.
Yes.
Either
Inflation,
now,
bro,
either
inflation.
you're an extremely wealthy person and you're owning assets which will increase in value
Over time.
right? Or people are really in a bad position, and especially now. It's funny because we're having this investment episode. I thought it was funny on the backdrop of the Iran War, which will also bring a lot of weight to the economy, which is already in a very precarious situation.
Yeah, I think we
I
should
don't
talk
think you
more
guys
about
feel
it.
it as much as I do.
Oh, but it's gonna get much
I
worse.
think we feel it in different perspectives. I mean, you feel it because you're a business owner, and we feel it different because, well, we working.
I
Yeah, understand.
haven't
For
got
the
a
men.
raise for 2 years.
Fuck.
It's-
You don't get to call that
I only have a
bullshit.
progression, no raise.
Okay. I'm not getting involved.
well, at least we're all lucky to have a job.
we
At least
know?
we're all lucky to have a roof over our heads.
We
right?
Exactly.
we are.
Yeah,
We are lucky
'Cause-
to have a roof over our heads.
and we are lucky to have this podcast that we're doing.
Yeah,
Because a lot of people don't even have the time to do this, and we actually
we do. We make time. Let's
do
face
make
it.
time.
We do make time.
Yeah. So I think for investment, from my perspective, will be the diversification. Because I own stocks.
Yeah.
I do the compound interest, and I also own a lot of assets.
That is the.
I
that is
wish
the
I
way
could
to
own
do it.
assets. I don't have the ability
Yeah.
right now, but
Your business is an asset.
Yeah, the
Uh,
business is
yeah.
an asset. So,
but
so
let's
yeah.
look at it. If you consider my business an asset, if I'm not here, what happens? My business cannot run without me.
But if he's not
Yeah,
here, his
but,
assets are also.
think about it as an investment.
As investment,
Yeah,
correct.
so
Yes, sir.
you're right now as an initial investment. So slowly it's going to build up. So
Yeah.
there's a compound.
No, it's
interest in
an asset. You could
It's an
sell
asset.
it right now if you wanted.
You can sell your company as
You could sell it right
if you
now.
want.
So it's
yeah.
an asset.
Yeah, but so what your return on investment right now will be is different will be in 5 years and 10 years, correct? So the same thing with my assets, you know. So right now I don't want to sell my assets because I'm in a loss, so I'm gonna just build and build and build. You know, so that's where I'm going with because I can't rely only on savings.
It's true.
You know.
Because inflation will beat you on that one.
Inflation will burn your
Yeah,
savings to the
I
ground.
agree. An average of
That's what's
6% a year.
that's
Yeah.
what's scary, man. That's
Yeah.
what's so scary
So my
about.
money's constantly at work in some way or another. Uh, my and my money, my wife's money is a different perspective, different situation. So that's good because we are separate in a way. So in a way, one gets hit, the other one doesn't get hit. So we're like always like this.
No,
Have you guys read the book? Okay, I do a lot of reading in terms of entrepreneurship. I just almost finished The Psychology of Money, and I read quite a good few books around entrepreneurship or money. If you don't believe it, maybe it's time for you to pick up a book and start reading. All the answers are in the books. The books has been written for a reason. If you can just read the book, highlight the points that you think are valid, and start with one. With time, I'm a good example of that. I started off with nothing. I put every cent I had in my pocket into my first business. Everything. I mean, there was a point where I didn't even have enough money to pay the invoices. And I had to get the ball rolling. There was no plan B. But once I started getting the ball rolling, I knew that was the only option. I've been able to sustain myself. And that's why I don't take it for granted. Because I started from nothing. And, when you do that, when you read, you invest in yourself, is my point is the greatest investment on anything in the world is yourself. If you can
I do
start
agree.
doing that,
Agree.
And you got grit, bro. When you start something from nothing, you got grit. You have a respect for yourself that no one else has because you did it from ground zero. You had no handouts. You did it by yourself.
no, I
And
can
that
say
means
that
something, man.
Opa was a big part of it. I promise you, I lost a lot of money in the first few
I
months.
know.
And
But that's investment.
yeah.
That's different. But you were there.
So Opa is an investor.
He is.
Good job.
He's my boss. I always tell him that.
That's why he's always at your restaurant.
Yeah, he is.
I'm an emotional investor.
You are.
Anyway, so if you guys have anything else to add,
Nope. It's good.
I think the main thing that we took away of this is
Where do we put our energy, right?
where do we
So
put our
then-
energy? Yeah. How to invest, where to invest, comes from friendships, from family, from anything that you put a little bit in it, it'll grow. Just make sure that you have the patience for it.
Compound.
Compound, yeah. And what to do when shit hits the fan.
You need a pops, you need a Opa, and you need a Carlos.
Exactly.
You-
That's something that will always be there. If you have a strong friendship, a strong family.
But not everyone has that. Let's face
Not
it.
strong. Yeah, not everybody has it. So if you don't start working on it, because if you're not emotionally stable, then you will not be financially well stable as well.
Your friends decide where you'll be in 10 years. I
I
truly
think your
believe
friends and your family will.
Yeah.
But also more important, yourself. If you don't, like you were saying, you're investing in yourself.
that. Your biggest investment is
If
yourself.
your biggest investment is yourself, I think it's something that we didn't touch on, but I think the biggest investment as a person, as your personal being, education, personal growth,
Knowing your value.
and knowing your value. Yeah, I think that's the best thing you should.
Just before I
invest on.
finish, let me finish with this thought. The beautiful thing about living in our parents' time is that you didn't need to worry about money, right?
It's true,
And some people don't want to worry about money. They just want to live peacefully, right? I don't want to be rich. I just want to live peacefully. And nowadays, we don't really have that choice anymore. You have to worry a little bit, or the world is gonna come and fuck you up.
Yep.
Like I was saying, in the United States, you're living paycheck to paycheck. You have an accident, you need an ambulance. Boom, where are you gonna get $5,000? And I know that there's a lot of ways to do installments, but still, man, it's an added stress to your life that you don't need.
I think one
It's
thing we
sad,
never
man. It's sad because we should be. Some people just want to be poets and writers and artists and musicians, right? And it's very
It's
hard.
difficult.
It's
Yeah,
very
it's
hard
very
nowadays
difficult.
to.
I think one thing we never touched on, and I try not to touch on it because most people don't feel the same, is faith. Faith in the bigger purpose in God. Not everyone would believe this, and but for me, this is the most important.
I think that's
factor.
part
I
of.
feel you, bro.
I think
Yeah.
that's part of investing in yourself,
Yeah.
spiritually as well. That I think that has a big important thing
It's for me above everything.
whatever you
Anyone,
believe
everything,
in God, Allah, Buddha,
whatever, is the most important for me above everything
or
else.
Patrick.
Or Patrick, yeah, Patrick.
Buddha wasn't a god, bro. So let me just correct you there.
Yeah, but whatever you
Yes,
believe, the universe, Yoda, the Force. I mean, it's
the greater power.
the
The greater
greater
power.
power. Anyway, so anything
It's a good
else you
one.
guys want to add? No. Time to close it off.
Trust the force, Carlos.
The Force be with you.
Okay.
All right, thank you for another episode of the only thing.
Oh.
The only rule is
You have to talk
about it.